What's up, guys? This is Webby back again for your classic Survivor Series review. On this edition, we will be covering and discussing the 2007 Survivor Series. We are less than 48 hours away from the 32nd annual Survivor Series, in which we will see such matches as Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, traditional 5-on-5 classic Survivor Series elimination tag team matches. Which brand will survive and be the dominant brand in the WWE, Raw or SmackDown Live? We will find out this coming Sunday on the WWE Network at the Survivor Series. However, when we look at the 2007 Survivor Series, a lot of things come to mind. The Great Khali's path of destruction. Does Randy Orton's WWE Championship title reign come to mind, where he punted Shawn Michaels' head clean off, and Shawn Michaels wanted vengeance, revenge, months down the line? Does Triple H and his rivalry with Umaga come to mind with their traditional Survivor Series matchup? Or does the epic rivalry that is still talked about to this day when we look at 2007 between Batista and the Undertaker that stretched from the Royal Rumble to the Survivor Series, does that come to mind? All that, plus so much more, happened in 2007, and all of that, and so much more happened in the 2007 Survivor Series that we will be discussing right here today. First off, if you are not a subscriber, go down and hit the subscribe button, or go and become a subscriber at the end of this video. That would be much appreciated. Plus, go back and watch any of the other classic Survivor Series podcasts. It is live on the channel right now. One more to go. I'll be doing that tomorrow. Tune in for it, and thank you for tuning in to this one. It is much appreciated. And tune into the Survivor Series review this coming Sunday, immediately following the Survivor Series. Be much appreciated. Thank you for doing that, if you do. And thank you if you are one of the people who is joining me on my journey right now on YouTube. Much appreciated. But now, the 2007 Survivor Series. When we look at this card, this pay-per-view, let's just dive into the ECW Championship on the line. CM Punk versus The Miz versus John Morrison. When we look at the Survivor Series today, a big thing that comes to my mind and to a lot of fans' minds is champion versus champion. Champions galore facing each other. Whether the titles are on the line or they're not on the line, it is always a champion versus a champion. It was that way back then too. CM Punk, the current ECW champion, defended his ECW championship against The Miz and John Morrison, who was the current WWE Tag Team Champions at the time. Now, when we look at this matchup and we look at this triple threat match, It was a very good matchup to kick off the Survivor Series. However, wrestling fans, I think you all would agree with me when I say this, that The Miz and John Morrison being the WWE Tag Team Champions going into this matchup pretty much guaranteed CM Punk coming out the victor. That guarantees it. So pretty much we are seeing a matchup that's going to be a very good opener to get the fans, real hyped up for the rest of the card. But we already know what the outcome is going to be. Not going to complain about it because who doesn't like CM Punk, right, wrestling fans? But kind of wish WWE wouldn't have put, champions versus champions with only one title on the line, and you know who the winner is going to be, especially when it's tag team championship. Now, John Morrison, look, really shows you, especially with this match and a lot of his matches back then, why did WWE waste him away? Very, very sad. Same with CM Punk. Why did they let him go? Why did they do that to him? Absolutely sad miscarriage of justice that he went down that road and left the WWE. Very sad because he was tremendous back then and towards his ending with the WWE. Of course, with The Miz as well. The way he was then and, of course, how he is now. Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch defend the Tag Team Championship, the World Tag Team titles, versus Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes. Now, this contest, this matchup, it was a very good match. Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch walked out the victors. Hardcore Holly was there with Cody Rhodes at the time to kind of give him a start, a build, so to speak. Give Cody Rhodes a rub, so to speak. Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch, one of those tag teams, I'm not sure if you all would agree with me or not, but very underrated. Underestimated, underrated in WWE. They were a hard-hitting, bruising type tag team. Didn't get everything they deserved in my estimation. Probably should have been tag team champions more than what they were. But I understand kind of why they weren't, the kind of character they was, but as far as the style of wrestling that they came off, should became tag team champions more than what they were given. As far as Cody Rhodes is concerned, got the best he could with Hardcore Holly, and then he came off and did more stuff that blossomed into greater, much greater, and WWE missed out with Cody Rhodes. And I truly believe that, and I think everybody else believes that as well. But this was a good contest. Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch won here. Best decision because they just got the tag team titles. They hadn't held them that long. But good matchup for the Survivor Series. Hornswoggle versus the Great Khali. Y'all talk about one of the most ridiculous matches the WWE has ever produced. One of the most ridiculous storylines WWE has ever produced. Period, bar none. You all remember when Vince McMahon was having that storyline where he wanted to know who his illegitimate son was? That's what this is. And Hornswoggle was his illegitimate son. And he booked this match because Hornswoggle is a McMahon. You're a McMahon. You can overcome anything. Yeah. So they get out there, and the fans just cheer Shaq. And Shaq. And Shaq. And Shaq. And Shaq. So Vince gets the microphone and he says, I don't care what you want. Next thing we know, Finley comes down, takes the shillelagh, and waffles the Great Khali in the legs, on the arms, everything. Pretty ridiculous. The only thing Hornswoggle did was kick Ranjit Singh, WWE's creative guy these days, while he was standing on the ropes. That was it. Pretty ridiculous. That's all I have to say about that. Ugh. Umaga! Umaga! Big Daddy V. MVP. Finley. And Mr. Kennedy took on Triple H, Rey Mysterio, Kane, and Jeff Hardy. This match, this contest, what can you say about it? Or should I say, what can't you say about it? You know, I like traditional 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series tag team matchup. However, a few things about this that really made me cringe about it. So you have people like Umaga, Big Daddy V, MVP, Finley, and Mr. Kennedy, which is, when you look at it on paper, is a dominant force. Now sure, WWE, when you looked at it back then, and you looked at how they booked some of them back then, it was just, Big Daddy V, big guy, but, his rivalries was just, whatever. Umaga, I mean, he was dominant, but, I mean, he had already lost, some by then. He lost some of his luster by then, right? However, it was still a dominant force. So what they did was they had this dominant force of a tag team, this dominant force of an elimination Survivor Series tag team, right? Defeat Kane and Rey Mysterio. And from there, Jeff Hardy and Triple H eliminated everybody else that was on the other team. They eliminated Umaga, they eliminated Big Daddy V, they eliminated Finley, and they eliminated MVP and Mr. Kennedy. Now, I knew that Triple H and Jeff Hardy was going to win because this wasn't the first time that I had seen this pay-per-view. Okay? I saw this pay-per-view live as it happened. But I went back and watched it again, refreshed my memory before I came on here and did this review for you all, and watched it with a different perspective this time. Didn't just watch it as a fan, watched it, trying to see it from, the eyes of a guy that's going to review it, and things of that nature. And honestly, WWE had Triple H and Jeff Hardy bury that entire Survivor Series tag team. I mean, they did. Now, I get why Jeff Hardy and Triple H were the sole survivors. The two guys in that entire match that was over the most and that WWE was the highest on. But you don't want to bury everybody else in sight, WWE. You could, well, no, you don't even want to do that. I was about to say you could have at least eliminated Jeff Hardy, but no, that means Triple H would have been the sole survivor by himself. And you want to give somebody else, some spotlight as well. So it's good that Jeff Hardy got some of that spotlight, but still, you buried the entire team. No, that's just bad, in my estimation. The women's Survivor Series elimination tag team matchup. It wasn't anything special. I mean, it really wasn't. Mickie James picked up the victory for her team by literally, and if you go back and watch this, by literally making out with Melina and then kicking her in the face. She did that. I had forgotten she'd done that, but if you go back and watch it, that's what she does. If you have the network and you don't remember that happening, she does that. So, I mean, it wasn't anything special, but that was the thing that stuck out the most, in my estimation. That ending image. I thought, geez. Anyway, moving on. Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Now, in this matchup, if Shawn Michaels used the Sweet Chin music, he would never get an opportunity at Randy Orton's WWE Championship again, and he would not get the WWE title. However, because of what happened at Cyber Sunday, when Randy Orton got himself disqualified, if he got DQ'd in this matchup, then Randy Orton would lose the WWE Championship. So the question is, could pretty much Shawn Michaels overcome those odds, and be able to win without using the Sweet Chin music? That's really how it was built, and it was a good contest. It had a great story behind it. If you go back to Judgment Day 2007, when Randy Orton punted Shawn Michaels right in the face, and he was laid out on a stretcher and was taken away. And then Shawn Michaels appeared and ruined the WWE Championship celebration, and which brewed into a tremendous rivalry for that fall in 2007. Survivor Series comes around. Randy Orton does retain the championship, but it was a good contest. Shawn Michaels kind of holds back a Sweet Chin music after he was going for it, holds it back, turns right into an RKO for a 1-2-3 at the very end of the matchup. And then afterwards, Randy Orton picks him up, sets him in the corner, and then that's, bam, Sweet Chin music. And Shawn Michaels walks out. But pretty good rivalry for 2007 in the fall for Monday Night Raw and the wrestling fans. And the main event, The Undertaker versus Batista for the world title. Hell in a Cell. And when you think about this rivalry, when you think about everything about this rivalry and what these guys put each other through, going all the way back to the No Way Out, the tag team matchup, it was Shawn Michaels and John Cena taking on Batista and The Undertaker. Batista spine bustered The Undertaker. From there, went to WrestleMania. WrestleMania, The Undertaker victorious. From there, you went into Backlash, in which The Undertaker and Batista could not answer the count of 10. They went and got speared. Batista speared The Undertaker off the stage onto all that pyroelectric stuff. From there, the steel cage match, in which after the steel cage match, The Undertaker was attacked by Mark Henry, and then Edge comes down and uses the Money in the Bank briefcase to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Undertaker's written off TV for a while. When he comes back, The Undertaker is defeated by Batista, and we all led into the Survivor Series, where the Hell in a Cell matchup is taking place. It all ends here. And it was an epic, bloody, gruesome match. At the very end of it, The Undertaker tombstones Batista right into the steel steps, going for the cover. 1, 2, and Edge appears again, yanks the referee outside the ring, and absolutely goes to work all over The Undertaker again. Steel chair shots right to the face, chair toe, everything you could think of. And The Undertaker loses to Batista. Batista retains the World Championship. Edge on top of the mountain that night. Absolutely fantastic storyline going into 2008, going into WrestleMania 24 in Orlando, where we saw The Undertaker and Edge main event for the world title. It was absolutely fantastic for the wrestling fans. But on that night, at the Survivor Series, even with Batista, the world champion, who was really on top of the mountain, who was really on top of everything that night, it was Edge coming back from his injury, because he was the world champion and had to vacate the title because of injury, which led to the Great Khali becoming the world heavyweight champion on SmackDown. So that is the Survivor Series in 2007. A pretty good show, if you ask me. Nothing to really complain about that pay-per-view outside of Hornswoggle and the Great Khali. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, share it, leave me a comment down below, and of course, join me tomorrow for the last Survivor Series classic review on our way to 2018 32nd Annual Survivor Series. It'd be much appreciated if you tune in to all of that. And don't forget to go back and watch any of the other classic Survivor Series reviews that are live on the channel right now. And until I see you again, this is Webby, and I'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.